Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Global Innovation and Entrepreneurship Challenge. I'm Joanna Bernstein, and I'm the Assistant Dean for Global Programs at Rutgers Global, and I'm very glad that you all could participate in this event. But before we start, I would like to explain a little bit about the history of why we're doing this and the history of this event. Over the past several years, Professor Kevin Lyons and I have been doing a number of these kinds of hackathons over the summer with students from the School of Engineering in one of their summer programs, GSET, which some of you may know, and also with the Rutgers Business School, and with a number of people on different kinds of global challenges. And these have been really great events. And the more we do them, the more people get out of them, and the more varied the group is, the more interesting solutions we get for these kinds of events where people come together to solve big challenges. So we decided that it made sense, and of course, to include the Rutgers students. So this is the inaugural, I guess you could say the inaugural class of the Global Innovation Entrepreneurship Challenge. And we decided that we would bring together the B-Star students from the Rutgers Business School and the School of Engineering Honors Academy students to work on some of these challenges. And you might ask why we bring these kinds of disparate groups together. But if you have the more points of view you have to solve a big challenge, the better off you are, and the more innovative solutions and ideas you can come up with. So before we get started, I'd like to ask Dean Brown and Dean Antoine to welcome everybody, say a couple of words.
Awesome. I'll jump in here first. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. I'm so excited to see you all that have signed up and really kind of jumped out there to learn more about this wonderful initiative. I mean, I think this is just such a major opportunity. What we try to do, especially, at RBS, and I'm sure, at the School of Engineering, it's kind of parallel. We're looking to prepare you for success as you venture out into, your professional careers, as you look to make an impact in the global economy. And I think tonight's activity gives us a unique opportunity to get a jump on that experience. So, we hope that everyone kind of comes with open minds and, you have an opportunity to network with some of your peers from, the School of Engineering, from Rutgers Business School. So you have an opportunity to, number one, increase your network, but then also approach some problems from a very collaborative standpoint. I think that's one of the things that you'll see throughout this process. It's really about teamwork. The old adage that says, teamwork, it really makes the dream work. So, we're looking to try to solve some very unique issues and address some very unique issues using a lot of the diversity that we see here on tonight. So I look forward to working with each of you. My colleague, Yvette Del Valle, is on as well, and you'll be hearing, from her as well. So I certainly look forward to working with you, and I wish you all the best in this awesome opportunity. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So this is a great opportunity. I know from the School of Engineering Honors Academy, we oftentimes just do a lot of work with engineers all the time, right? And to collaborate, to have the opportunity to collaborate with students that have a different way to approach a problem is fantastic. It's a great opportunity to learn, to put your heads together to solve problems, and to come up with a solution that could potentially be paradigm shifting. And I think this is a unique opportunity to connect with people, to make significant changes in an environment where change is deeply needed. So congratulations for even just taking a step forward, because you didn't know exactly what you're getting yourself into, right? But I do believe that knowing the people that we're working with right now, that this is going to be a worthwhile opportunity for you. So congratulations, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do.
Great. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Professor Kevin Lyons. And if you don't know who he is, he's a professor of supply chain management at Rutgers Business School. All yours.
Okay, thank you, Diana. Thank you, Dean Brown and Dean Antoine. It's great to be here, and Yvette, you're always great to be in the same room with Yvette as well, because she's great. So welcome everyone to this this meeting tonight. I'm going to spend a little bit of time with you just sort of going over what your challenge is going to be. So we've talked about how great it is for us to be networking together, the two schools actually merging together. The really unique thing about this is that we very rarely have this kind of an opportunity. I know that a lot of our faculty conduct research together, our engineers and our business school faculty. We work on a lot of projects that are trying to solve the world's problems, but we thought, you know, there is a lot of synergy that's happening down at the with our students as well. You guys have a lot of great ideas. You have a lot of energy, and I'm hoping that some of you have had an opportunity to think about global issues and as well as local issues, and what if you were in charge to make a difference, what would you do? Has anybody ever come to you and say, you know, we have a significant problem, and I'm giving you an opportunity to put your stamp on it and give us your feedback? So with that said, what we're going to do is we're going to use a global platform, which is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which, if you have not had an opportunity to take a look at them, we're going to provide you with the link to the goals themselves. Each one of them are both environmentally challenging, they're socially impactful, meaning that it involves, you know, improving people's lives. There are some economic challenges that are global. And what we're asking you to do is to think about the Sustainable Development Goals. We want you to, as a team, once you break out into your groups, to try to decide what one of these 17 Sustainable Development Goals you feel, as a group, that you feel most passionate about, that you would love to make a difference with. So basically, the first stage is for you to actually think about which one of these challenges that you as a team would want to take on. And then the next big decision that you have to make is, all right, now that we've decided that, let's say, for instance, clean water is a major issue that we'd like to tackle, we want you to think about a global location in the world that has a water purity issue. I'm just giving you an example, you don't have to pick water, but has a water issue, and we want you to pair that with a local New Jersey locality that also might be challenged with water. So I'm going to stick with this example just to give you an idea what I'm talking about. So I'm not sure if you've seen the news within the last couple of years. In the city of Newark, we've had some challenges with lead in our water systems. So obviously that's major. It's a lot of health-related type issues. It happens to be, unfortunately, in areas where folks are not only economically challenged, but in some cases, you know, the environmental justice issues that go along with that have been challenging for them for many years as well. So if you think about the challenges that poses in Newark, and then you pair that with a challenge that could be happening somewhere in the world, globally, that same kind of issue is happening, how would you guys look at that singular challenge, and how would you come together to create a solution as part of your team to address both of those? Now, it sounds like something that we're asking you to solve the world's problems, but I think that, you know, when you get together and you start thinking about, you know, things that you can do collectively with your engineering, science background, and then with our business students working together, there might be some synergy where you guys can think of some solutions. So that is the big challenge. Step one, think of a sustainable development goal that you'd like to tackle. Step two, think about a global issue where that is impacting, and then think of a local locality, whether it's New Brunswick, Newark, Camden. We want to stick within the cities that are close to where the university is. So this way, when you guys do come up with a challenge, we'd love to share that with the communities that the university sits in, because that's something that we don't want you to work on this just for the sake of working on it. The idea is that once you come together and come up with your solutions, that we'd like to share this with the global and local community as well. So the other exciting thing is that when you guys are finished with this, we're going to give you an audience where you're able to share your solutions with them. So again, we don't want you to work on such an important project and nothing really happens with it. We want the world, in a sense, to see what your good work is all about. Okay, so for tonight, basically, is for you to get to know each other, spend some time thinking about some of the issues that you love to tackle. I know that there's some things that I'm sure you guys have thought about over the course of your time on Earth, and that you'd love to step in or lean in to come up with some type of solution. But we've also, and this will be the last thing I mention, we've provided you with some guidelines for how you can think this your solution through. So we have an outline for how we want you to proceed. We want you to make sure that your solutions cover a very basic framework, whether they're economically responsible, how many people, for instance, is it going to impact? What are your partnerships, for instance, that need to be formed in order to make sure that your solution is put into play? So serious problems also require serious solutions. And so that's what we're hoping that you accomplish with this project. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Joanne, and hopefully we can get started.
Okay, thank you. So before we get started, a couple of items that I need to go over. I did send all of you the guideline, the case study exercise in an email. If you didn't get it, I've just posted it in the chat. So you should be able to access it. I've also posted a link to the UN SDGs, and you might need those for the activity. So in a few minutes, we're going to send you all to breakout rooms, and you don't get to choose which room you're in. We sort of mixed you all up because we don't want to have a team of only business students and one of engineers and engineering students. So they're intentionally mixed. And at the moment, I believe there is either 3 or 4 students in each group. There's a couple of students who are coming late, so you'll have a couple more team members joining you. A few items when you get into your rooms, you really should have your camera on so that you can introduce yourselves. That's the idea. So get to know each other and then start working on the activity. Let's see, we will be checking in at certain points with each of you, and you'll be able to ask for help if you need it. We can come into your room. So you should spend about 30 minutes working on this. We will check and see if you all need any more help, any more time just to finish up. And then what you'll need to do is select a spokesperson who will report out, and each group will have 5 minutes to report out on what issue they want to cover. It doesn't have to be real complicated, but explain why you chose those SDGs, what challenge you think you're going to tackle, and how that relates to the global and the local. And I think that's about it. Anything else I need to mention?
Yeah, I think the big thing, again, just for those who have not read the document that was sent out, We're not asking you to solve the world's problems in the 30 minutes. All we're asking you to do is just, think about the one of the sustainable development goals that you feel so passionate about that you want to, address a global, local issue with that. And that's what you're going to be reporting back to us on, just basically that you'll have the 2 months to come up with your solution.
Right. And once we're done with the report outs, we'll talk about the next steps and what happens after that. All right. So it is 6:23. So let's say 6:25. Oh, it just changed. Greg, let's go ahead and send everybody to their breakout rooms. Okay, now we're all coming back. Dean Antoine, I thought we lost you in a breakout room, like you were becoming part of the team.
I got lost in conversation. They had some really good ideas.
You went into that, that place and space that you can't get out of.
Absolutely.
We figured out a way to bring you back.
All right. Where? Okay. All right. Now it's coming back. Great. Okay. So looks like we may have lost somebody. All right. So I hope you guys got some work done. Our next step is for a little report out. So what I would like for you all to do is we'll go by group number. Obviously, the designated person on each group. Tell me your name and you'll have 5 minutes to present 5 minutes or less to present what it is that your group is going to be doing. So let's see. Let's start with group 1 and tell me your name and let's go from there. Group 1? Is group 1 on mute?
I don't know if you announced this before, but I don't know my group number.
Oh, you didn't know your group number. All right. Let me see if I can. Oh, no, I have it here. Sorry about that. All right. Group 1 is Ahmed, Reese, Alexandra, Kayla, and Ajita.
Okay. Yeah, that's us. I'm Ajita. So our group decided to focus on goal 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. And we were focusing in on waste management. We haven't really developed a full solution or a country that we want to focus on, but we were debating different ideas, whether we want to focus on how to control waste and reduce the amount of waste that each person produces, or figuring out a way to create renewable packaging or some product that people can reuse and therefore not produce as much waste.
Did you happen to choose a local area that you were going to focus on?
We were talking about New Brunswick.
Okay. Any questions from the other people?
No, I think this is a good topic. This has happened just so happens to be my area of research. My students who really like me call me Dr. Trash. So basically, anything that you guys need as far as research in that space, I'll be more than happy to provide you with the support that you need. So great topic.
Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Now let's go with group 2, which is Althea Megan Swarnima Nyabijwa. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. And Eman.
Okay, I guess I'll start with the idea and then you guys can jump in if I miss anything. But we were focusing kind of more on like food insecurity and hunger and homelessness, that kind of thing. We were talking a lot about Newark as our local community, and in terms of like global country, we didn't really pinpoint one, but I'm sure there's one we can find. But our idea was kind of more technology software based. We were thinking maybe we could create some sort of app or website that connects the people that need meals to like the places where they can get them, whether it's a food pantry or Meals on Wheels or like a local grocery store that has, like Megan was talking about, redlining and like sales on produce and things, kind of to encourage good nutrition too, just like kind of a place to like mitigate that gap and like the lack of awareness maybe. And then in terms of like expansion, we could definitely kind of expand this app or website maybe into some sort of kiosk in like cities where maybe, you know, local people can be like, kind of the example I used before was like how Amazon return centers are in Kohl's now. If you had like a center for this kiosk in every like Panera or something like that, that recognizable, and like people could go in and find where they can find like a free meal or something. So that was kind of our idea.
Sounds interesting. Okay, so food insecurity, SDG 2, I think. Is that right? I have to look it up. Any other questions from Dr. Lyons or Dr. Antoine or Yvette?
I was going to say, I know that there's an organization that started to put kind of like vending machines with almost a similar concept. So maybe I can put you in connection with them to see, you know, kind of pick their brains, see what they're doing and how to innovate with that.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Thank you.
All right, I think we're ready for group 3. This is Vignesh, Tasman, Joe, Victoria, and Desola.
Hi, I'm Joe. We kind of went down 2 different avenues and we're kind of a bit torn between the 2 as to what exactly we want to do. So the first of which is kind of focusing on greenhouse gases, like goal 11, goal 13, city sustainability, and combating climate change. So if we're thinking if we had something similar to like Uber or like a rideshare system, and it was kind of implemented through the government, but it was all like electric cars. So you would be able to save like the cost per mile for a gas car right now on average is about 58 cents per mile, whereas the electric car is about 4 cents per mile. So you're kind of saving all like that little bit per mile, and you could use it to promote ride sharing. It would be like a cheaper alternative to things like Uber and Lyft, you know, because it would be cheaper for the gas cars, and you could also have a feature similar to I don't know if you're aware, but Uber has something like, oh, if you're willing to ride with a couple other people going from one destination, like a couple that are close to each other to another, you could save money. So it can it gives like that saving cost gives more room for customers to pay less or for workers to earn more based on like the decreased ride costs. So it would help them just provide like getting a little benefit with that, whether it's extra money or having to pay less, which can kind of dip into all the other goals. So that's kind of one avenue we went with. And then the other was food insecurity and hunger, which was goal 2. And what we were talking about was that a lot of companies like around 40% of the food that is created kind of gets wasted because they like throw it out at the end of the day, like things like Dunkin' Donuts we were talking about, or even local businesses, they kind of throw that food out. And especially for a smaller business, if they don't have a way, like if they don't have the funds maybe, or if they don't have a good way to like get that food to a pantry, like that's where kind of our idea would come in. If we had something where we would be able to help these smaller businesses distribute their food at the end of the day so that it would kind of take it out of their hands so that we could distribute that to food pantries and provide more affordable, attainable, and I guess sustainable food, because it would be a constant thing in which they're having that extra food at the end of the day. So we're kind of torn between the two, but those are our two ideas. And if I missed anything, anyone else, feel free to jump in.
And did you have a local community in mind?
I think we're talking mostly about New Brunswick. So yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that's the other area that we spend a lot of time in is in food insecurity and the food supply chain. And so both of those projects are definitely worthy. I can see where, for instance, the first one with the electric cars, if you had a package deal where you had public transportation, tickets and, electric cars, sort of like give people like a package, then it would bring down the cost of everything. So if you chose, to do public transportation and you had an electric car, then you would literally get like half, it would cost you less because you're really doing your best to keep yourself off the grid. So there's, you guys can do anything that's like as innovative as you can possibly think of because, folks are, thinking about these things, but they need thought leaders like you guys to sort of like just throw it out there. You never know. I've seen some pretty wild stuff that ended up being like reality. So don't feel constrained by, well, you know what, I'm not sure if that's really going to work or not. Go with it. You never know what. And then for your food idea, I can see you guys have seen the food trucks that we have like at Rutgers. So I can see like a food truck that just has like 3 or 4 chefs on it. And all they do is they go around and collect, and then they make these fantastic meals for the inner city. I think that would be like something that would be different and would be kind of cool. But then it'll be mobile. So this way you can go to where the people, need to be rather than they have to come to you. So, again, all of what you guys are thinking is all brilliant concepts and ideas, but really go for it. Think of some of the wildest things you can possibly think of.
Yeah, don't be shy. Okay, so these are all great. Sounds like you're off to a good start. I'm noticing that right now you're thinking a lot about the local. So the next step obviously will be to include a little bit more on the global side to think about how this solution can be translated into a global solution. So here's what happens next. This is sort of the first phase of the project. The second phase, you all are going to be working together on your own. And by March 23rd, you will be contacted either by March 23rd or maybe a couple days before to sort of give a report out on what it is that you've been doing so far. And if you look at that document that I put in the chat and the one that you got by email, it sort of explains how to develop your idea. So that's the next step, is to sort of develop this into an outline of how you want to move this forward. So group 3, you might have to make a choice about which direction you want to go in. But there's a lot of great material in either one of them. Now, as you're going along, please feel free to reach out to any of us, to Kevin, to Dean Antoine, to anybody who you think could help you out. Use us as a resource, use other resources. You may want to interview people and ask them how some of their facilities work, depending on what it is you're interested in. And then we'll check back in with you. Most likely, I'll be checking in with the spokesman for the group. So you'll probably get an email from me sometime soon, sort of confirming that you all are in the group and to identify the spokesman. But I've written down who's been reporting out. And you can choose a different one, that's fine. And then once we've had the check-in in March, sometime in mid-April, we're going to have the pitch contest. So that'll be your pitch to an audience. Yet to be determined, but it'll be some experts in the field, depending on your topic. All right. Any questions about what happens next?
Joanna, I just wanted to let you know that Ayoko joined.
All right. Hello, Ayoko. Ayoko, maybe you'd like, once we're done, I think maybe if you want to hang on for a little bit and we can talk about what happened, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So for the rest of you guys, is that clear? Do you have any questions? No. Zoomed out for the day. I can see that.
They've reached their Zoom max.
I have reached my Zoom max, I can tell you that. All right.